Can you just share your screen?
Okay.
So, what are all the Java 8 features you used in your project, current or previous projects?
We used Java 8 mostly. We have used the for each loop method. We have the for each method, right, while iterating. So that is one we will use it. And the default method we will have in the interface, right, that we got now. So that default method we will be using. And sometimes I think once or twice we use the lambda expression.
Okay.
So these are the three things mostly we are using in practical, if I have to say, in my project.
Okay. Okay. Only for each loop you used?
Yeah, for each loop means from the Java 8, if I can say for each loop I have used.
Okay. Okay. By using for each loop, if I want to count the number of even numbers, how you will do that?
You want to count the number of
even numbers?
Even number means even numbers in let's say this is our array list. You want to find how many?
Yes, I want to count the even numbers.
What we will do is we can teacher.
No, I'm asking about you used for each loop, right?
Yes.
You told in your previous project you used for each.
Yes. For each with even number, so.
Yes.
For each loop we will use with that. Even number means definitely we have to see that it is getting divided by 2.
Correct.
So.
Okay, David. So, for example, I have some list of numbers.
Okay.
Sorry, list of employees.
Okay.
I have some list of employees. Okay. Now, I want to find out the distinct employees from that particular list. I mean, I want to remove duplicates from that particular list.
Okay.
So, how you will do that? Just, I'm expecting a procedure.
Okay, you are expecting a procedure. So, what I can do is, first thing is say I have an array list which is containing all the list of employees. So I can convert that array list into a set.
Okay.
So a set.
Okay.
So automatically it will remove all the duplicates.
So how set is working internally in this particular use case?
So what set will do is when we try to convert our list into set, what it will check that this particular first it will check it will insert the first name. Say we have 10 names, so first name it will insert. When we give the second name, it is going to check that this name exists or not. If this name exists, it is not going to insert that name inside the set. Again it will go to the next one.
Okay.
So like this it will insert and it will remove all the duplicates. We will have distinct names.
Okay. So you are saying that set automatically recognizes the duplicate employee record. That is what you are saying, right? So how set automatically set knows only ABCD 1 2 3 4. Am I correct?
Yes.
But here our data is not ABCD 1 2 3 4. Our data is employee record. So your set is supposed to identify an employee record is duplicate or not.
So you're saying when I say employee record, it means like one record will have employee name, their address, maybe their salary.
Yeah, that is what the meaning of record, right?
Okay. Sorry, I got the we are having the name.
No, even in that case also, even in that case also, I clearly mentioned that my list contains list of employee records. Am I correct?
Yes, yes, yes.
So record means definitely multiple fields are there.
Yes, yes.
So how you will remove the duplicate employee records from that particular list? So yeah, one of the valid point you told that I will convert from list to set. Agree with that. But as per my understanding, set identifies only primitive data types, but ours is not primitive data type. So how?
Correct. In that case, if that is how we are going, means then first thing is we have to understand that on what basis we are going to distinct, means is it only going to be on the name basis?
Okay, name basis. Okay, name basis. We will go with name basis. Okay.
So if it is going with the name basis, we are going to do with the name basis. So if I have to go with the name basis.
Yeah.
Okay, so let me iterate and go check the first list and I will check what is the name here. Okay, we can do it like that also. If it is present, then it will be replaced. Okay. So if that is the case, I'm not sure how to implement in set, but I can tell you alternative which comes in my mind. What we can do is we can create a hash map. Maybe we can create a hash map and then I'll iterate through my list. Okay, so say for example first name is Muzammil. Okay. What I will do is when I'm iterating through my list, I'll check the name Muzammil. I will check in my hash map that is present. So as we are making a distinction based on the name. So if Muzammil is present, what I will if Muzammil is not present, I'll insert my object there. I will insert my object into hash map. I'll move to the second name. There, say for example, second name is Uma. So again, it is going to check if Uma is present. It is not present. It is going to insert it. Now again, it will check. Say for example, third name is again Muzammil. So what it will do? It will check is Muzammil present. Yes, Muzammil is present. So if Muzammil is present, it is going to replace the old value and insert the new value. So if we go on like this, at the end of the 10th iteration, we will have our unique names.
So do you think that the performance of the, is it taking a very less time?
I was coming to that only, that it is not very ideal scenario, because as you said, my best, I will say my best guess is we should do it in sets only, but I am not sure that how in set we should go inside an object and check for the distinction, as you said, right? So that part I'm not sure. That's why I gave you alternate solution.
Okay, no problem. Okay. Now coming to the next question. Let's say I have some, as you told that you have you aware of hash map, right? So let's say I have a hash map.
Okay.
With the key as numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Okay.
And the respective value as 1 means ONE1, 2 means TOO2, like that. Okay, key value pair. Keys are numbers, numerical numbers, and the values are the respective English.
Okay.
Okay, now I want to find out list of values. I want to display a list of values from this particular list, from this particular hash map. Is the question clear?
So you want to display the list of values.
Yes, correct.
As in say for example, the hash map contains 1 to 10 and the key is 1 to 10 numerical and the value is ONE1 TOO2.
Yes,
like
correct. So I want ONE1 TOO2 CHRE3. That is what I'm expecting.
Okay, so what we can do is we can take the entry set and then iterate through the entry set and we can print it.
Okay. Just show me the notepad, like how you will type that one.
Oh, okay. How I will do that one. So let's say we Yes, yes.
Assume we have an hash.
Yeah, we have a hash map. So we'll use the iterator. We'll use the iterator to get the entry set.
Mhm.
I'm forgetting the syntax for iterator.
Okay.
I'm forgetting the syntax. Sorry.
Okay, no problem, no problem. Okay, now see, in your any of your previous projects, so how you use overloading and overriding concepts, or when you used overloading and when you used overriding in any one of your previous projects.
Okay, in any one of my project, how you used
Yes, yes. Any use case, no problem.
So for overriding, I can say when we okay, one use case I can give you recently, very recently I have used it. That was for overriding. So what we were doing is we were writing a route in Apache Camel. Okay.
Okay.
Which was again in Spring Boot only. We were using Apache Camel for making the REST call. So there, when we were making the HTTP call, right? What it was doing was it was trying to connect to the endpoint 3 times. Let's say, for example, when first time it tried to connect to the endpoint for XYZ endpoint, and the endpoint is not available. It is not available. Then
retrying mechanism.
So it retried for 3 times. So that time what it is in we override the HTTP what is it called, HTTP one HTTP entity class it was from HTTP camel. We override that method and we made it to retry only once. So if it is not available, we should not go and retry for 3 times. By default, we make it to retry just for once.
Okay.
So this is the very recent one we did. So I can tell you this is how we did the overriding. Overloading of the method. Recently, I don't recall where I used.
Any other example? Any other example need not to be from your project. Any example that shows the uses of overloading.
Okay, that shows
the what you understand, not theoretically.
Okay, any other example? So basically, overloading means it is the same thing, but some same method name. But say for example, like I can tell you, like when we say loading. I think the very best example will be like we use our phone, right, and we have skin on our phone, like Android skins we have, right. So under the hood, the skin means we have different swipe gestures, or maybe you can say when we make a call or something. So under the hood, what Android provided is the same functionality. Under the hood it is same, but based on different skins, Android skins, what we get, the look and feel is different. So that is what I can best relate to overriding.
Okay.
Yeah, this is what I can best relate to overriding.
Okay. Can you just define one user-defined exception? Any user-defined exception. Let's say invalid employee ID exception.
Okay, so you want to me to define a user-defined exception.
Yes, user-defined exception for invalid employee ID.
Okay. So, you want me to write it?
Yes, yes.
Okay,
My
so-
interest is on your class definition.
Okay, my class definition. Let's say. What was the name you said?
Invalid employee ID.
And extends. Sorry. So here we can give message or anything, and whatever class is going to throw the exception, we can throw this exception from there.
No, even, I told you right, I'm more interested on your definition. So complete the definition, class implementation.
Okay, complete class implementation.
Yeah. You have written only public invalid employee ID, extend exception. So is that sufficient or any other thing to be added there?
No, we need to give a constructor maybe.
Okay.
Let's say for example, constructor which takes the message, maybe string message.
Okay.
Message.
Okay.
This takes a string message.
Okay.
And we can give the okay, let's say we call let's say we say pass this message to our exception class and let it. I think we should.
Okay. So what is the difference between extending your class to exception and extending to runtime exception?
To exception and to runtime. So one thing which comes to my mind directly is that if I do it extends with exception, right? Maybe at compile time also it may throw the exception. Okay, but if it extends runtime exception, the exception we will get only at runtime.
Okay. So you mean to say checker exception, null checker? What is the difference between this checker exception and null checker exception?
Like say checked exception means we are writing a logic. Let's say we wrote a logic for to get some values or to fetch some values from a file. Just say for a text file. So there are chances that file will not be there. So we may get a file not found exception. So in that case, while compiling itself, our code will say, the compiler will say that you should handle this scenario because there is a chance that you are going to get a exception.
Okay.
There we have to handle it. But now, say for example, we are doing an operation and there we are doing a division of numbers. So there is a chance and it may happen that we will get a divided by zero exception. So at that time the compiler is not going to tell me because the compiler is not, so that is the runtime exception, like we get some exceptions while runtime. Okay, like divided by zero or null pointer exception, these are null runtime exception, but the exception which the compiler is sure about is called compile time exception or checked exception.
Okay, that is what my question also. What is the difference between this runtime exceptions and compile time exception, whatever you are saying, right?
Yes.
So what is the difference in developer perspective? having these set are compile time, these set are runtime, developer take care. Why the Sun Microsystem is giving this information? Yeah, is because all compile time exceptions must be handled by the developer.
Sorry. Yeah, it should be handled by the developer.
Yeah, so handling runtime exceptions are optional to the developer. It is up to his or her wish. That's what the main.
Yes.
Okay. So coming to the Spring, what are all the different Spring modules you worked apart from Spring Boot?
Spring MVC, I have worked there.
Okay.
I have worked sometime on AOP.
Okay.
Little bit on AOP I have worked, and then JDBC was there. Means that JPA.
Mm-hmm.
That was there with Hibernate. I have worked there a little bit. Actuator. Right now I am working with Actuator.
This Actuator is in Spring Boot, right?
Yeah, it's in Spring Boot.
Okay.
That one I am working. Spring Security I have not worked on. So I don't have any experience.
Only I'm asking about what are all the modules you work. That's it.
Okay.
Now, coming to Spring Core is concerned. So, how many types of beans are available? Bean scoops.
There are 5 beans in Spring Boot. Spring. Beans. 5 are there.
Okay.
We have sessional. Just let me recollect the.
So you can type or notepad.
Yeah. There are 5. I don't recall the names.
Okay. No problem. Well, no problem. What is the purpose of configuration annotation in Spring?
@configuration.
Yes.
It is the purpose of @configuration is to tell the Spring to look into this class when the component scan is going on and look for any beans or anything is present inside the class.
Okay. Suppose I just want to define a bean called employee bean. Okay. So in how many ways we can define this employee bean?
Okay. So one way is like if you're doing in you can do it in XML.
Okay.
That is one way in XML configuration you can do. Second is that @bean we can in Java in the configuration class we can define it as @bean.
Yeah.
So
show me how to do that. Show me.
Okay. So in XML I don't remember it because it is
No, not XML. In configuration only I'm talking using @bean.
We'll have an annotation bean. Okay. Then sorry. Then say we want to get a class, something, let's say HTTP. Okay, then this is our class. What is the return type? Let's say a string. And is there any parameter we are passing? passing any parameter, and let's say I'm creating here the new object of this HTTP, and then we can return this. I can say the bare minimum we have to do this.
Okay, so what is the return type of this tree?
Return means return type is HTTP only. Sorry. Object of this.
Okay, return type is HTTP. Method name is also HTTP.
This is the class method name.
So return type is HTTP, that is correct, but there you have to give capital H.
Yes.
And the method name should be get HTTP. So internally, whenever you are calling a bean called HTTP, internally it calls getX method. GetX is what the name, get HTTP. Then this method is going to execute. That's the procedure.
Okay.
Right. Coming to Spring MVC is concerned. So I don't have this HTML, right? So let's say I want to invoke a static HTML page. I want to display the static HTML page. So how you will do that?
Static HTML page you want to display?
Yes, from Spring MVC. If I got any request,
Okay.
then that request should return a static HTML page.
A static HTML page. So
Yes.
from the controller class or the component class, we can that HTML page we have with us, right?
Yeah, it is there. It is.
Okay. So that HTML page is there. So what we can do is we can return that HTML page name in our controller.
Mm-hmm.
Like say for example our HTML page is like index.html. So the request comes, we can turn that HTML page name and what is that model? The model will take care of it if we give the name, and it is going to display it.
Okay.
Like for example, like I have a controller which says that display HTML. When I get the request, what I will do is I will create a model, and in that model I will pass the HTML page name and return that model. So I'll return that model. Yeah.
So what is the purpose of this AOP?
So for the purpose of AOP is like it mostly deals with the cross cutting edge concerns, like for example logging or exception handling, all these things it will take care. Whenever we are like we want to log whenever we are entering a method or whenever we are exiting a method, we want to log that one.
Okay. So let's say my requirement is I don't want to log each and every message.
Okay.
I want to record the logs only for the methods that starts with login.
Method name starts with login.
Login, yes. Starts with login. So how you will define the cross-cutting edge for this? It's a join point you have to define, right?
Yes.
So how you define the join point for the method that logs only starts with login. If the method name starts with login, then only the log must be recorded.
Join point. Sorry, syntax I don't remember.
Okay, okay, no problem, no problem. Okay, now coming to, you use Spring JDBC, yes?
Yes, yes.
Okay, Spring JDBC to get the data from database, right?
Yes, yes.
Now, see, I'm talking only at repository level. I'm not focusing on service layer or a controller layer, okay?
Okay.
Now, so I want to retrieve the list of employees from database.
Okay.
Tell me, in Spring JDBC, how you will retrieve the list of employees from database?
List of employees from database.
Yes. So I think JDBC is providing some method, right?
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah. So you used in your previous project or not?
Previous project.
Okay, okay, then okay. Then
That one to get it. Not sure for inserting that save or updating update. So I think we have to use query. I'm not sure of it.
named queries we have to use.
No, named queries we used to write the specific query, right? Means like recently I have used like I wanted to write a query specific to one specific to MySQL. So that time I used the named query.
Okay, okay.
Here I think we have a in the repository we have a method called query. I think.
So what is the difference between left outer join and right outer join?
So say for example I have two tables A and B. Okay. So if I'm doing a left outer join, so I will get all the records from table A. Okay. And whatever records are matching in table B.
Okay.
That is left outer join. If I'm going for right outer join, I will get everything from table B and whatever is matching in table